when I look back at this trip of a life so far, I'm laughing at the whole thing. I'm laughing at the whole thing. Don't we make it serious? I know I do. I make it way too serious than it needs to be too often. And although I can see the joyfulness of life, I really do deeply see the joyfulness, but I can see the joyfulness because I can see the opposite of that, the intensity and the seriousness of the mind as well. And it's like we have to experience the polarities of life. The roots are as the light can only be as deep as the roots. Like the more left and right we go, the more up and down we go, the more we go, the more we have, the more we can shine. And this little short burst of energy wanting to move through me right now started when I was sitting here watching the new Star Wars series, Ashoka, I think is the name. Ashoka. And as I'm sitting here watching the movie, as my friend Emma says to me, like Show, you don't stop working for the light. Like as I'm watching this movie, I am literally massaging my feet on the floor. Like there's been a density in my being for so long, and I feel that density, the tightness where the ligaments have got stuck, and I can feel and track the whole channel of this stuckness all the way up the left-hand side of my body, all the way up, and then across up to the right-hand side of my shoulder. And it's like my inner world shadow. But then I question whether it's my inner world or a representation of humanity's inner world. Is it just me that I feel inside myself, or is it everything and everyone? Because the inner world is the place where the duality stops and the oneness begins. And so it's very easy to see duality when you're in the physical world, but when you are seeing inside of yourself, how much of what we're seeing inside of ourselves is ourself, and how much of it is of the other, of our collective all, and how do you distinguish the difference between them? When we go inwards, is that only you? Your thoughts are probably only you, but what about sensations and feelings and intuitive knowingnesses? Is that coming from you, or is that coming from a higher source? Because again and again, I've witnessed people showing that this feels like the highest flow for this situation. Just an example of this is sitting in my men's group, and one of the brothers said, "Look, there's a flow here. Like there's like kind of a right order, and that sounds quite scary and quite empirical. Like I'm just watching the Empire on Star Wars. So, it's the Empire. There is the right order, but there is a current of life that flows through all things, and if we are all tapping into that same current that we can all tap into in that particular moment, then there is an unfolding that everybody can see feels like the right thing to do. And another way of describing that thing would be love. Well, what's the most loving thing to do in this moment? To be, to act on, to express, to share, to move in. That to me is then love. But that love changes, then what to do changes depending on the field that's currently created. If there is a field of very high frequency beings, it might be very different than a field that is still growing into their capacity to live consistently in a high frequency place. Maybe there is a different unfolding, but the unfolding is more like the perfection of the synthesis of the group in that particular moment. It's not about being more high frequency or less high frequency. There is no judgment there. There is just all of us being the being, and in the being of the being, there is the expression. An expression of love, and we still have a choice to express what's the highest form of love that I can express at the moment. But what is the highest form then, other than the form that is most present? Like can't we, the invitation is to be present. And the more present we are, the greater opportunity to express the most love. And is that true or not? Sometimes we don't need to be present to know from wisdom what the best unfolding of love could be in this situation, because one has been in this situation many times before. I went to a beautiful workshop yesterday about on love and unconditionality of love. It's Not What You Think by Rick Smith. He runs a leadership awakening retreat coming up soon here in Ubud, and I'm taking away from this workshop an acceptance of bringing together the matter and the spirit with much more love instead of conflict. It's easy for the spiritual tribe, which I've been part of for so long, and religions and other aspects of our reality that are trying to reach or get somewhere or achieve something or be good in a certain way based on external things, right? Or internal things, right? With just living as a human being in all its absolute imperfections. But even that doesn't do it justice, because there isn't such thing as an imperfection being a human. When we bring spirit and matter together, there is no thing as being imperfect, because you are perfectly imperfect. You are what you are. There's no more other than what you think of as being more, and suddenly you're in your mind again. And the mind isn't here. The mind is there. And so what is there to do? There's nothing to do. And I record these videos when I have these bursts of energy, because I need to move the energy. I need to move the energy through my system, because something's opened up, there's a flush, and I need to just let it out in whatever form it might come out. And I'm witnessing myself speak these words right now, so quite dense, and speaking from a place of awareness. And at the same time, I know and I can see how much of an opportunity I have to slow down even more. So for me, I'm still calibrating when that amount of light and energy comes through my system. How can I move it in a way, or be present with it in a way which can land and be transmuted and shared with more people without it necessarily being such a powerful, sharp burst, which is what you guys have just experienced over the last 8 minutes or so. And let's receive a breath. Let's receive a breath. And again, one more breath in. So, there we go. God, life is good. Life is so good. Aren't we so blessed to just be here? To just be here. And you see the excitement in my face. What to do with all of this energy? So much is here. And I am a being right now learning to dissipate, disseminate, communicate, allow this current to flow as I need it to flow, and as I arrive. And maybe I'll just keep arriving forever until I decide to not arrive anymore because I'm out of here. So I enjoy playing there. Whatever I was just playing in, Buddha is with me. Blessings.